My name is Joey Permiani, and I'm a designer at LinkedIn on the premium team. And today I'm excited to share with you how to create a prototype using Claude Code and connecting it with Figma MCP to be able to create beautiful prototypes such as this one and be able to spend more time as designers to create product design strategy and ideating your ideas faster and validating them with users. So you can see here all of the motion graphics and design that I was able to create all within Claude Code. Great. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up your terminal. And right here, I have Claude Code already installed. But I can, once I open up my terminal, I have all of the instructions on the how-to link that I dropped in the chat, but I'm going to navigate to where I installed all of my prototypes. So I go to CD, change directory, documents, CD Claude, which is where I installed all of my Claude plugins, and all I have to do is click type in Claude to be able to start, and you'll see this welcome screen to get started. It takes about 5 minutes to install all of the latest plugins, and you have to be able to authorize all of the permissions. But once you do, you can see here that if I type in /plugins, I have the Figma plugin already connected and installed. And I have the MCP already installed as well if I type in /MCP. MCP just stands for Model Context Protocol, and it's the way that LLMs like Claude are able to connect with tools such as Figma, GitHub, Salesforce in a really simple, secure way. And I already have my MCP installed here. The first thing I want to do, as Maria said, you want to create a high quality input to create the highest quality output. So instead of me just saying, create me a meditation app, what I first want to do is create a plan file, and I have it all here in the doc as well. But I use this prompt to first create a plan file, and I will paste that into Claude here, Claude Code. And a plan file is similar to a PRD that has all of the information that you need, the product details. So I'll say, create me a plan file for a meditation app, a meditation box breathing app, and interview me in detail using the Ask User Question tool. So the Ask User Question tool is a skill that you add on Claude Code, and it allows you to have a relationship where you could be able to ask it questions. It asks you questions proactively about anything, technical implementation, UI, UX concerns, and trade-offs. And what's really great about this is it helps define the product details in a really simple and easy way to be able to ask questions about the product and be able to cover all of the edge cases, the corner cases, the trade-offs, and really start asking you, more detailed product questions. So right now, it says, what platform should we target this app? I'll say that this is a web browser for the MVP that we want to create. Who is the primary target audience of this goal, of this app? What is it for? So asking all of the basic product questions. I'll say this is for, you can also, if there's no answer that really matches what you're building for, there's also a fill in the blank question field here that you can also type in. So I'll say for this one, it's for busy professionals. What is the core breathing pattern you want to support? I'll say box only, which is inhaling 4 seconds, holding, exhaling 4 seconds. And then it's going to start even asking me about the visual style and design, which is really great. It gives me some options here to say how I want the interaction and the visual design to look. So I'll say I want it more fluid and organic. I'll submit that. So ask me a series of about 25 questions. It takes usually about 5 minutes. But then what you'll get is a plan file that looks similar to this, where you're able to see the strategy doc, the vision statement, the target audience, all of the core decisions for the product. Excuse me, like a feature breakdown using the Moscow method of prioritizing features that's important for the MVP. The architecture, the tech stack. So in a very short amount of time, I was able to be the PM, the designer, and an engineer, wearing the hats of all three, understanding the core problem that we're solving. So once I have this really great plan file that's well thought out, I will use it in Claude, and I'll say, using this plan file, create me a prototype and send to Figma. So then what it'll do, it'll take about 5 minutes, but I've already pre-baked it here. It will create a HTML file in that folder on your computer where you can prototype it out, or you can test out the prototype, and then it has this prompt above here where you can send it to Figma. And what it will do then is open up a new window, and you can see here that it exported the core flows of the breathing app, the meditation app, and I can edit it inside of Figma if I wanted to update the design or change any of the visual styles here. But in the short amount of time, in 5 minutes, I was able to create a full prototype and design all within Claude Code, which is really impressive, and been having a lot of fun using it for like weekend and side projects, just to understand the capabilities of the tool, and also being able to see how great it is at visual design, motion graphics, animations, micro interactions. So if I wanted to share this prototype with my friends and family to get their feedback on it, I've taken this HTML file and hosted it on my own GitHub repo. And you can say, push to GitHub the prototype that you have, and you're able to push it to a GitHub repo, so you can create a URL, something similar to this, where you can easily share it out and start getting feedback on it and testing it with members and users. Great. So that was from Canvas, or Code to Canvas. And now I'm going to show you how to take a Figma file from Canvas to Code. And I have this example here of a Figma file. It's just a landing page example. But if I wanted to create a prototype out of this Figma file, I just select on the frame and type in Command L, which creates a link, specifically deep link to this frame. And I can go back into Claude Code and say, using this Figma, create me a prototype. And I have all the prompts in the chat as well. And it will take this Figma and create a really beautiful prototype that is mobile and web responsive. And it also added in some light animations and micro interactions here for me. And you can see here that just the quality of the output that it was able to do in such a short amount of time. So what this means for designers is that I think we're going to be able to iterate much quicker, and we're able to also spend more time thinking about more product decisions, more strategy level, higher altitude decisions. And one of those being an example for the awesome site that we have here, the AI UX Summit. But say I wanted to optimize this landing page to optimize the registration button to get as many clicks as that I can, and drive up the registration signups. I can also experiment rapidly and create multiple different landing pages, different copy styles, different visual styles within Claude Code. So I can also pull in URLs, such as this one, where I can type in an example prompt, like copy and paste this URL using this website, create me 4 different variants to optimize signups, and create a dashboard to see which one performs the best. And so I've done that before too, and it creates a URL and it creates multiple different prototypes that you see here for different styles of landing pages, different visual directions. You could see that it's also added like the liberty of showing how many people signed up, some more social proof, testimonials, and being able to also fill in the gaps of some questions that people might have about the conference, and also all of the awesome speakers here that I'm honored to chat with today. And it also added the agenda and the pricing chooser page, as well as some more social proof like testimonials, and then also added a FAQ section for any of the top questions people have. And you can also see here that anytime I click on Claim Spot, it will go directly to the sign up page, and that will register as a click. So this is the first out of 4 landing pages that created. The second one is a more simplified light version to be able to see which one performs well. Excuse me. And you can see here that it created just a different visual style to see if it helps promote or change the CTA conversion rate. Here's another style using some different copy in the hero graphic, a little bit more bold. And then the fourth one, also a different sort of creative direction it created to be able to see the website theme. And then it created also a dashboard here. This is the dashboard to be able to see out of A, B, C, or D, which ones performed the best. And this is just sample data. I'm using a live simulator, but you can get the idea that it will run, and you can see which out of all 4 of those different styles, which one performed the best. So this one is an example that like this one converted the most and got the most clicks. So that's something that we might want to experiment and run further on. Well, great. If you have any questions, my ask is feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and yeah, I'm happy to share with if you have any great prototypes that you've created with Claude Code, or if you have any questions getting it set up. I'm happy to be a resource for you. I feel like it's a really exciting time to be a creator again, and just excited to see the possibility as designers utilizing Claude Code and Figma MCP to create beautiful prototypes. Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Joey. We'll now hop over to Q&A in the chat.
Okay, well, we get started. I could see your question. Do you think tools like Claude Code will eventually replace traditional design tools, or will Figma remain the main interface layer? I think in these examples, what I've tested out lovable, bold, subframe, magic patterns, evaluated the pros and cons of each tool. And this one has definitely, the Claude Code with Figma MCP has created the highest quality output that I've seen in terms of visual design. I don't think we were necessarily there in terms of the UI and UX with any of those tools quite yet. Something I would be really proud of sharing. But the quality of the output, especially in terms of the little delightful micro interactions or visuals that it was able to um, add, I think really just surpassed my expectations of the tool. And it does take a little bit of learning to get set up. There's a lot of times I have to constantly be prompting it back and forth to get exactly right. But I think that's what everybody has been saying so far in the speeches. The other speakers have been saying about, how it's so important for us to have so good judgment and taste to be able to prompt the tool to be able to get to the quality that you want and be able to iterate quickly on it. But it's definitely been one of the most exciting tools that I've used most recently, and can tell from the chat too, like other people just in the last 2 weeks that it's been announced, the Figma MCP plugin, that people also feel the same too. Question I have, what were some challenges from Tanya? What were the challenges you encountered, if any, converting Figma design to prototype using Claude Code? Um, I've tested it on mobile apps, web apps, and it mostly gets one-to-one. There's still a few changes that you'll have to make and iterate on, that you'll have to prompt it a little bit more to be able to say, get me exactly like this design. So what I also do is take screenshots of the prototype, anything that I need pixel perfect or need to be improved a little bit more. And I'll say, just like fix this padding or fix this spacing, just like you would on a Figma, and you would comment on, say, somebody else's Figma to be able to help improve. I've been doing the same with Claude Code, where I give a feedback list of fix these 5 things on the prototype, and it will basically be able to take your context and be able to make those changes. And you don't have to know any code. It's really just broad context prompts that you'll say, like, fix this or tweak this. And so there is a little bit of a learning there, but so far I've had a great experience so far with just been able to doing it that way. Okay. Uh, let's see if anybody else has any questions. How would you maintain design consistency when multiple designers are generating UI with AI tools? Yeah, that's a great question. I think with Anthropic, I was on a call, or they had a live webinar, and they were saying the best way to have a design system with a team of multiple different designers on Claude Code is to have a shared claude.md file where everyone could be able to pull the latest design system from this shared Claude MD file. And that's kind of been the best practice. So you can work off of and work with multiple different designers and making sure that the quality is consistent between them. But I think it's still being worked out. It's still really early days of this. Okay, yeah, some questions around Claude Code and Figma Make. What differences have you noticed? I'm actually curious if anyone has answers to this too, like if you've compared or contrasted with your own experiences. Um, if anyone likes to chime in from the chat or put themselves off speaker or off mute, if they like to see, like, what are the differences so far, because I'm also wanting to learn more about that. Okay, well, we'll give it a few minutes if anybody else has more question or being able to answer that. I teach UX design at University in Toronto. What's your point of view if you were hiring entry-level designers? What would you want to see in regards to AI in their portfolio? Yeah, I would definitely love to see the quality of the output. I think a lot of people talk about the AI process, but what I'm interested in is what you actually created and if it surpasses your current behavior of using Figma. Um, I would also, yeah, love to see just the prompts that you used and being able to see uh, what you're able to I think of it almost as like a cookbook when we're sharing these AI tools. Like you want to see the end result first, like the wow worthy um, peak moment, they call it, and then talk people through the process of how you got there. So I like seeing, the output and then being able to explain how you got there a little bit more. Um, and Yeah, I just also love to see when I evaluate portfolios, like their personality and how they're able to infuse their um, their energy, their soul into their portfolio and not just make it look like a template, and being able to also have that charm that they can add with AI into their thought process or their portfolio. Uh, Cool. So some people are also chatting about the differences between Figma Make. That's great. Oh, I don't think it. Are people able to unmute themselves now for it?
Yeah, if anyone would like to unmute themselves, they can just raise their hand and I'll go ahead and unmute them.
Oh, another one is tell us about your AI UX journey website that guides users and using the AI tool. So the link that I shared in the beginning, I actually created all within Claude Code 2. And I just said, create me an 8-bit style website for the AI UX Summit and using these to-do lists or using these to-dos and the prompts. And it's actually really great at creating like 8-bit style websites and kind of giving that theme of like Web 3.0, but even, a little bit different. So I really enjoyed seeing the creativity behind that. I'm also wanting to redesign my personal website in all of 8-bit. Are we moving towards a future where designers design systems and AI generates the screens? Yeah, I think we're definitely becoming more like a creative director and more of a tastemaker in a sense of spending less time inside of Figma and spending more time actually validating that this is something people want and this is something that people need, and being able to spend more time thinking about the product strategy, the risks, the mitigations for each of those risks, the implications that it has towards the product. So I see us actually um, leveling up in terms of our capabilities rather than spending more time in the weeds of being able to have pixel perfect creating those components manually. Now we're able to create components or design systems through the prompts. So we have to get smarter at learning and being able to keep up to date with the best practices. And that's why I'm so excited to be here today to learn more about how you all are using these tools and how we're able to create better products in general. So, um, yeah. What is one workflow that became dramatically faster once you introduced AI? I would say, yeah, just the 0 to 1, the creation process, being able to come up with an idea and prototype it out, but not just spending less time actually creating the prototype, or spending less time creating the actual product, but spending more time doing more user research and more validation of the hypothesis, and also sharing it with people externally to get their feedback earlier. And so that gives me a lot more signal and confidence to inform my design decisions if we want to invest more time or resources into the project. And yes, big plug for user research. I think we're also wearing the user research hat a lot more too. Now that we're able to create these prototypes, we're able to learn how we can iterate faster. And there's also a great talk on Lenny's newsletter recently about how the design process is changing, of course, and it's completely shifting now that we have these tools. So I definitely recommend checking out that latest podcast episode. I'll link in the chat as well. All right. Well, thank you, Farid. Thank you, everyone, again. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and happy to keep the conversation going again. And appreciate your time today. Thanks so much.